Well, I'm doing a couple of upgrades to my Toshiba laptop, and I don't know if I'll put both upgrades in the same video or split them up. It depends how long the first upgrade takes, how long the video is. Anyway, one of the upgrades is I'm going to install a Samsung Evo 860 Evo 1 terabyte solid state drive, and the other upgrade is I'm going to upgrade this the CPU, and I don't have that yet, so I'll add that in later or put it on a separate video. Anyway, the Samsung solid state drive I got from Newegg, and I was impressed with the performance of the last one I installed in my PC workstation, so I thought I would upgrade my laptop with one too. Anyway, I'm not going to do an unboxing because I'm sure you all know how to take a product out of a package, so I'm always bored when I see those slow motion unboxings. Anyway, this is the hard drive, and it comes with a 5-year warranty with limitations that if it's physical damage like water or blunt force, it's not covered. And I downloaded some software from Samsung for backing up data, and it actually backs up the operating system too, and clones it directly from the internal optical hard drive to the new Samsung SSD. And to do that, I already had this, which is a SATA connection that'll fit the hard drive, and then one USB for power, and then it's a cable, one USB for power to the hard drive and the other USB for data transfer. So I'll hook that up in a minute, but what I thought we would do is I would time how long with the optical hard drive does it take when I press the power button for it to boot up and be ready to open the Firefox browser. So we'll time that with the old hard drive and then with the new, and then we'll also look at the WEI scores, the Windows Experience Index, and see what those performance scores are before and after. And then when I get the new CPU, we'll test those scores again. And so let me get my watch off here, and then we'll just get on with it. So here we go. I just got to wait 5 seconds here. Okay, here we go. Okay, it's on. And we'll see how long it takes. By the way, my computer was performing fairly well. It's been a while since I reformatted it, but it hasn't been that long, and I wouldn't say it was booting up real slow, but it's certainly not booting up fast either. And so we'll probably see quite a bit better performance with the boot up after the SSD gets installed. And I know probably there's a million videos like this on YouTube, but I thought I hadn't posted a video for a while, and I thought I might do this. Okay, so we're still waiting. Okay, it's been just about 1 minute. Now the system tray has to populate pretty good before we still got that little twirly blue thing down in the system tray. It's waiting. I think we're waiting right now for the network card to initialize with the router, and it looks like Avast AV has already come up, and I'm not quite yet ready to try Firefox. Okay, it looks like we can try it now, and we'll see. It looks like the Wi-Fi is activated. There still may be some things loading up that we're not seeing that aren't showing right there on the icons right on the system tray. So I've gone ahead and I've double-clicked Firefox, and it's booting up pretty slow. I still haven't seen anything there. I just saw an hourglass up by the Firefox icon, so it could be things are still loading up a little bit. I wouldn't say it's booting up fast by any means. And once she does boot up, she's fairly fast. It's got a i5 processor with turbo boost, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and a 750 gigabyte hard drive. And so still waiting for it to boot up here. Or now it's booted up. We're waiting for Firefox to open. And I would say it's kind of taking its time by any there. Now we're seeing it open up, and she's waiting for the Google search engine. Okay, so and we've gone past the 2-minute mark, and there it's finally open. That's 2 minutes and 20 seconds with the old hard drive. Now you can see if I close this up and I double click Firefox again, probably open up quite a bit faster now that everything's loaded. So 2 minutes and 20 seconds, or 160 seconds, we'll say 160 seconds. So we'll go ahead and shut this down, and we'll go ahead and well, no, I didn't need to do that. I'm going to stop the video for a minute. Okay, I'm back. Okay, now we're going to hook up our solid state hard drive and go ahead and transfer the data and operating system and programs. Okay, so I have one USB 3.0 super speed on this side and one that's not, so I'll just plug those in to the appropriate USBs, and we've got this cable dongle hooked up, and I've already downloaded the program from Samsung to do the data migration. I guess it's called Samsung Data Migration. Okay, so we'll open that up. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to go ahead and shut off my Wi-Fi and the antivirus to better get a clean transfer, so there's no programs running in the background. So there's that, and then I'll look and make sure there's nothing else running, and there doesn't appear to be anything on the system tray that can interfere with the transfer or any other programs running. So we'll open up data migration. Okay. Now I'll zoom in a little bit on the screen so you can better see what's going on. Okay. Okay, so the first screen the start screen came open on Samsung Data Migration, and the only thing to do here is click Start. It's very simple, this migration on this. I think it's a lot simpler than a Cronus, which makes it, Cronus is a little more difficult to clone clone optical hard drives to an SSD. Okay, it's recognizing both drives, the source drive and the target drive being the SSD, and I'll just click Start, and okay, and it gives me a message that all the data on the target disk will be deleted, which is the SSD, and cannot be recovered. Well, there's nothing on it really, and it'll probably reformat it to the partition. Files on the source drive that are open cannot be closed, so please close all running files. And I've done that already, and I'm going to click Yes, and it looks like it's beginning. It's analyzing the source disk, and it says now it's cloning the disk. Okay, so no point in just waiting for all the viewers to watch this progress bar, so I'll be back in a minute when it finishes. Okay, I'm back, and the process is finished as far as the data migration goes, and it sorry about that out of focus business. It says that the data was successfully migrated over, and so the next thing to do is to install the solid state hard drive, and I'll turn this off while I move the camera. Well, you may have noticed that I use Windows 7, and I have a lot of programs that work on Windows 7, and so I'm not ready to go buy a lot of new software, and I happen to like the way Windows 7 works. I do work on Windows 10 computers for people, but I still prefer Windows 7. It's easier to manually configure things, and you can look at the operating system, the things under the hood better. You can manually adjust your Windows updates the way you want them to download and when you want them to download, and eventually I will get Windows 10 on this computer, but probably not until Microsoft no longer provides Windows 7 security updates. Now, I have my wife on Windows 10, but she mostly just does Google searches and Facebook, and so it's an adequate operating program for her. And it works a little faster than Windows 7, I have to admit that. But for me, there's not enough benefits at this time to change operating systems. Looks like this caddy, I guess if you could call it a caddy, all it is thin foil, is sealed on here pretty good on the hard drive. Actually, it's got a little bit of adhesive on it. There we go. Okay. Not even sure it's necessary for this. It probably isn't really. Although I don't think it'll hurt anything. Yeah, this SSD probably doesn't even require this caddy. But I'm going to go ahead and put it on there. They have a pretty thick head on them, so when you slide the hard drive in the slotted area on the laptop, it's actually these screws that support it. This foil here might be some kind of heat shield for the hard drive rather than really a caddy per se. Okay, here we go. Now, I'll zoom this in a little bit so you can see better what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, there we go. So, get this connection. Check this out here. Okay. Oh, we're going to have to turn this around. Okay. We'll slide that in to the SATA connection, SATA 3, I guess. While the connection on the solid state hard drive is SATA 3, and it might be SATA 2 and SATA backwards compatible. Okay, so our granddaughter dropped my laptop, so I have this, had to add this washer to the cover here on the hard drive and use a different screw. It works, I guess. Okay, so that's installed, and I'm going to boot it up off camera one time, and then we'll, so in case there's a driver to install, it'll install, and then we'll do it again and run the test, how long it takes to start it up and then open up Firefox. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the test now in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ready, set, go. And to give you an idea of the cost of the Samsung hard drives. This 1 terabyte was $279. A 500 gigabyte one I bought for my PC was $150, and one I'm getting for my wife, a 250 gigabyte, is $84. Okay, so everything's up on the system tray. I'll go ahead and start Firefox, and boom, it's there. That was 45 seconds. So we went from 160 second boot up to 45 second. But this doesn't just help, the hard drive doesn't just help the boot up, it helps other programs and other browser URLs to open up faster, and it helps processes run faster, like video editing and rendering and photo editing. So now we're going to check the Windows Experience Index and see what's changed there as far as the speed, the performance goes. And we'll open that up, and I'll zoom in on that a little bit so you can see it better. Okay, so let me zoom a little bit more. You can see that the hard disk number is 5.9, and the performance index is rated on a scale of 1 to 7.9. And we're going to do this again when I get my CPU, and we'll see what changes there. And so we'll rerun the assessment. The overall score is also 5.9, and it's based on the lowest score of everything that's tested, which is 5 things: CPU, processor, memory, graphics, gaming graphics, and primary hard disk. And so we're going to rerun the assessment, and I haven't learned how to do time-lapse video yet, so I'm going to shut the camera off, and then when it completes we'll see what numbers have changed. Okay, so the progress bar is almost completed, and I should turn the camera back on so you can see right at the point when the primary hard disk number should change from 5.9 to something higher, I guess, and we'll see what that is when this completes. And reason I only got a 500 gigabyte SSD for the Dell workstation is I plan on using my old 1 terabyte optical hard drive for data storage as a secondary drive, and I'm just waiting. Okay, there it goes. So the primary hard disk transfer rate, well, the score for the WI score changed from 5.9 to 7, and the other numbers, they look pretty much the same. I expect to get a bigger increase on the other numbers when I get the CPU, which I'm going from an i5 to an i7, running at a higher clock speed. The i5 clock speed is 2.4 gigahertz with turbo boost at 2.9, and the one I'm getting, the i7, is 2.8 gigahertz, and it turbo boosts to 3.4 gigahertz. and they're both dual core. I didn't get a quad core. I'm not getting a quad core i7. It's a dual core. Reason being is they're both 35 watt and fit the same socket, and I didn't want any additional heat on the laptop, as I have it in my lap quite a bit. So that's why I didn't order a quad core processor, as I didn't want any additional heat or any additional the battery being used faster. I should mention that it's probably going to be a graphics video card improvement in performance that's going to affect photo and video editing and rendering more than a solid state hard drive. I turned off the virus protection and the Wi-Fi and ran the WEI performance score again, and the hard disk went up to 7.1, a little bit higher. It's actually on the Dell PC, I'm getting a reading of 7.7, but it has other components also that are more powerful, such as a video card I just installed and a better CPU. So anyways, peace out. Thank you very much.